I have to. I just do. It's a weight that I'll have. You're talking 20 years. 20 years. Yeah. 20 years, 30 years. The day comes when I won't be here anymore. Okay, that's just the way it is. And I will have to live with the reality that I made the right choice or I made the wrong choice. Were the people more protected or not? And I'm going to have to live with that. Do I observe and pay attention? Absolutely, I do. Do I see today? I had to speak to the principal at my son's school. And I became aware, as we were conversing, I became aware that there was a training that happened at Ryan Park. A number of sheriff department was there, personnel, deputy sheriffs. And Ryan Park happens to be right by Valley High and close by Orange Glen Elementary School. So parents were arriving very, very concerned. ICE is there. ICE is there. So the principal got in her vehicle, drove over there to go see what was going on, spoke with the administration of the school, and found out what was going on so she could tell the parents what was going on. The fear is real. Do I live with it? Absolutely. Of course I live with that. Do I know that they can stop me? Yes. That's already happened. But I'm still trying, I am still doing what I believe I need to do, because this will have repercussions for decades in Escondido. You may disagree with me, or you may agree with me, but the reality that this has divided our community, this has hurt so many people, and no matter what decision is made, there are going to be many people upset, angry. So that's where I'm at. And I've stated what I needed to state. If you were paying attention, you would know.
All right. I have a couple of questions for the city manager. Any idea how many contracts under $250,000 the city signs every year?
I would have to get back to you on that specific number.
And is your threshold 200 or 250? I can't remember.
It's 200,000 for the city manager.
And then what is it for management?
It depends on the level of management, but it's typically, and there are the city attorney will fill you in. There are some things in the code, municipal code, some permissions there.
Right.
As well.
So at the department head level, it's $75,000, and below that there's another level. I think it's $10,000 for assistant department director.
That's what I need to know. Would it be safe to say there are thousands of these contracts?
There would absolutely be safe to say there are thousands of these contracts.
And it is not atypical for that setup, and it's that way for a reason. And if you go to your school board member, they're going to say the same thing, because they're designed similarly as the city, in that when you have a city manager form of government, you have a professionally trained administrator who runs the day-to-day. We don't get involved in the day-to-day. We don't hire anybody. We don't fire anybody. We have nothing to do with business licenses or building permit applications or recreation or anything like that.
The mayor's turn to speak. Mayor's turn to speak.
Our job is policy. Day-to-day policy. And I would go as far as to say there's probably, I don't know, between the city and 2 school districts, there's probably 50 or more thousand of these contracts that the Board of Education and the city doesn't see, because we've entrusted him to run the day-to-day operations. And there is a big issue setting that precedent. And that was my next question. Is there an example of the city council terminating another contract without cause?
Not to my knowledge. In my tenure I've been here, I would have to defer to the city attorney. He's been around a little longer than I have.
And I've been in this seat for just about 9 years. I don't recall one termination for convenience. I don't recall it. It could have happened. It's
When
not something.
council members or mayors get involved in operations, it creates confusion about who has the authority. Then where do you draw the line? Where do you draw the line? There is nowhere to draw it, because this is political. And the only thing that this serves is chaos. While I agree the current situation is chaotic, that would be more chaotic. We're sort of left with a losing option either way. But I came in here with a small advantage today. Small one, albeit it's an advantage. In that I knew that the vast majority of you came to a conclusion about who I am and who they are before this meeting started, long before this meeting started. And I know that because you're upset that we didn't make a public statement. But you're not upset that Mike Levin had time to tweet about us and ignore the letter we sent? You had a letter, 5-0, to Congress. One person responded out of the 5. He blamed Donald Trump, and that's as far as we got. And maybe if we all rallied at their offices, something would eventually change. Because none of this is going to change, none of this matters until the law is
The
updated.
mayor's time to speak.
That concludes my comments.